What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And guys, as you can see, I am not alone. I am joined by the one and only, I'm Roadblock. Roadblock, welcome to the channel, brother. How are you, man?
I am doing great, and I'm just so happy to be back on your channel again today. Excited to talk some free-to-play.
Heck yeah, man. We actually just did a collab on Roadblock's channel, guys, so make sure to check that out. I will link that down in the description below. Was a fun little collab talking about some live arena stuff, which I had a lot of fun, and hopefully will be beneficial to your audience, Roadblock. So we shall see what they think of that. But today on my channel, Roadblock had this idea of like, hey, Drock, you just did this recent one-year update on the free-to-play experience. Why don't I jump on your free-to-play account and we can chat all things free-to-play and take a look at exactly what this free-to-play account has done relative to another experienced free-to-play player, because Roadblock, you have your own free-to-play account that's you said, I think, what?
I've had many.
Yeah, you've had many, yeah. Way more than me, and you're like around 6 months past where I'm at, I think, or something like that in that kind of time frame. Is that right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit past me, and so you had the idea of, why don't I come on, take a look at some of the stuff that you've done, and maybe give you some pointers, tips, point some things out, critique, whatever, my free-to-play experience. And also, I think the big thing is, one of the questions I had with my last video is, how lucky is this free-to-play account been? I've actually hidden my Aphidus, so I do have one mythical here, but there, as you can see, I'm maxed out at the moment on champion space. But how lucky has this free-to-play been? And so I got a lot of comments on that, but it's great to hear from another free-to-play player who has been probably the luckiest free-to-play player I've ever seen in my life. And if you go to Roadblock's channel and look at his free-to-play account, it is something to behold, right?
I mean, a little bit of luck, I'd say,
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little sneak peek before you, for your community. I did at one point on the same 10 pull, I pulled Georgid and Turvold in the same 10 pull. So that's a summary of the luck that I have over there on that account. But on a free-to-play account, that's pretty incredible to get a Georgid and a Turvold on the same temple. So yeah, you have been blessed by the RNG gods. But we're not here to talk about your account, Roadblock. We're here to talk about mine. So let's just start with something general. I mean, overall, what do you think about my progress being 1 year, a little bit past 1 year in, about 1 year and 2 months in since I started this on the Hell Hades Challenge last year?
I have been, the word I want to use is proud, but I like it.
Thanks, Papa.
Because you've talked about it a lot, and you talked about how much this free-to-play account meant to you, to be able to show to not only your community but just viewers of Raid in general that it's not just that you spent, you cha-ching, right? You've demonstrated a huge amount of skill. I've watched a lot. I love it when I would like more free-to-play content from you, but that's just me asking. And yeah, I think that you have done an amazing job. I'm glad you kept going with the account. I quit both challenges halfway through, so I'm not the, but yeah, and I think you've done an amazing job, and I have like maybe a few little things that I would have done differently, or we could talk about, in today's video. But the thing that tells me you're doing everything right is the pure number of legendaries that you have.
Yeah. This is, I think, one of the biggest things that it feels like people do get wrong on free-to-play accounts is when to summon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen enough free-to-play accounts at this point that I don't think this is like an extraordinary number of legendaries. And even if you look at like the legendaries I've got, a lot of them are the fusions or legendaries that you can get from events. And I think that's, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's probably the area where a lot of people make mistakes, is just having resources ready for fusions. And a great example of that is, I mean, look, this is like crazy hard, this summon rush relative to normal stuff. Like Plarium, you got to hand it to Plarium. They really know how to, tighten the screws on people. And I'm so glad that I saved shards, because, well, if this ever loads, this summon rush, this is Raid Shadow Legends, guys. That was the video. We're going to sit here and look at a circle spinning for the next 10 minutes, hoping that the summon rush actually loads so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's try this again. Come on, Fabian, pop up for daddy. Does this happen to anybody else, by the way? This happens to me all the time where I go into tournament pages. Like,
Only when recording does this stuff happen, right?
it's so hilarious.
There
Okay, he's here, he's alive, but like this summon rush, this is brutal. This is
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one of the most resource intensive summon rushes that has been around in a while. And even this normally isn't at 6,100. This is normally like 5,500,
No.
isn't it, or something like that? I think typically
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to hand it to Plarium. They really know how to piss their player base off, and just try to put the screws, because this is normally not 3,500. I feel like this is normally like 31 or 3,000.
It's usually 6 sacred, so 3,000.
Yeah,
they
so
added a whole extra sacred.
Whole
to it.
extra sacred. Now, luckily, I was able to do it, right? Like, we're on day 1 of this summon rush, and I have it done because I saved resources. But man, dude, like, I think that's one of the hardest things with free-to-play life, is that you just have to really be diligent about saving your stuff. I don't know. What do you think, Roadblock?
Well, the thing that makes it, I mean, for me personally, the part I hate most about this is that they make it hard on me as a content creator. You know, not so many comments that I get. I have people that see a free to play account like mine, and they're like, I can't do fusions. They're impossible to do.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, save your resources. It'll be fine. You only need 6 sacreds. It's not that big of a deal. Oh, now it's 7. Oh,
Yeah.
now to get the epic, it's like 13, or that number's not correct, but it's ridiculous. You know, that I get this is a good champion, and I get why they're kind of scaling things up, you know, but
No, I don't get it. No, I'm just going to step in and say, no.
I'm trying to be nice.
No, you're being nice. Let me be Daddy Drock. No, this is, there's no other word for this. This is horse shit. Okay. Like,
Yeah.
and if you've been a long time player of Raid, I've done 4 years in Raid, 4 years in the trenches here. You know what I mean? Like, I played Raid for a pretty long time, 4 out of the 6 years that it's been available. If you have played Raid a long time, you know that they have gradually increased requirements for these things by a significant amount. Gradually significant, you know, technically we're contrasting here, but they have significantly increased over time in a gradual fashion. Like,
Yeah.
every single fusion, every single fragment summon has gotten harder and harder and harder and more restrictive, to the point where you like really have to be smart about saving your resources. And I think you can get there eventually if you really are diligent and you just kind of chill. But if you've just started a new account, good luck. Like this stuff is rough. Yes. But he is a great champion, so I get it from that perspective. Like, yeah, he's really good, and they certainly know that.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people, the free to play challenge, the Hell Hades challenge is happening right now, and I know a lot of the content creators wanted to try to go for the fusion. Now, I haven't watched, you know, this all dropped this morning for me and you as well. So I don't know if they're still going to go for it or not, but you know, best of luck for them. That's a lot of sacreds. And actually my free to play has enough, but my main account only has 4. So I'm going to have to, I don't know, that might be a credit card.
Might be a little re-up there, you know. Hit there.
Yeah. Just a teeny tiny one. We'll see.
Feels good.
But
man.
when we're, that kind of ties in though with the question that you had about luck. And I think what I love is like, you know, you asked a question in your video, what do you guys think, you know, is this a lucky account?
Yeah.
And instead of commenting, I was just like, oh, I'll just go, let's make a video about it. Right.
No, that's great.
And yes, I do think you've had some really good pulls. It's awesome that you got a mythical. Do you know how many shards that you pulled to get the mythical?
Not very many, like probably less than 20, maybe 25. Like, I've not had a lot of mythical shards in this account whatsoever. So I got really lucky, and I had a grand total of 2 mythical shards the other day when I pulled. I had 2. I pulled the first one, nothing came out. I pulled the second one, there was an Aphidus, and I was like, you've got to be kidding. And it was weird because I just had this feeling. I don't know if this ever happens to anyone else, and sometimes the feeling, I guess, can be wrong. But this time I was like, I don't know, this one just feels like a mythical, man. It just feels mythical. And I pulled it, and the red started. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then I was like, wow.
I had that feeling during, I pulled a mythical during my birthday stream, which was outside of the 2X, but one of my commenters made a bet with me, like, if you pull a mythical, I'll donate. And I was like, all right, well, watch this. And then I pulled Commodus, and I was like, oh my God.
He was like, what?
Yeah, he's like, okay, well, I guess I gotta be a man of my word here.
I don't like this. Well, so this is, you know, it's a great question. So, okay, so decent luck, it seems like, on this account. And a lot of these good epics have come recently, like the Ugo I think I talked about in my last video. Now here, I got a question for you. Do
Yes.
you agree with who I have 6-starred versus who I have not? Because I think this is one of the biggest questions on free-to-play accounts, which is who the hell do you choose to level up? And it is really tough sometimes to figure out who to pick because there are so many champions here I would really like to have at 6 stars to improve stuff. But do you think I've done a decent job of selecting the right champions, or have I missed some obvious ones that I should have chosen? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Everything makes sense. Like, I can see exactly why you did this champion over that champion. Like, you have some great champions that are, in there, right? Like Gerptuk is a big part of like Trunda teams and stuff like that, but you don't need him. He's not going to add any value to your account.
Yeah,
So if you don't have the team to build around him, it doesn't really help, right? And so I like that you're identifying your needs and you're filling those needs with the correct champions, basically. And everybody in that makes a ton of sense as fulfilling a role on the account, right?
that's good. Okay, that's good to hear. That was the driver of my decision making. Where there's some really good champs here, like Deacon, that people are
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you definitely should have at 6 stars." But I was like, you know what, man? I don't need him. Like, I've got
Yeah.
really good Sacred Order champs that are already leveled up, and for what he does, it doesn't really behoove me to make him 6 stars because I'm not going to get more value out of him other than survivability, and I'm not using him in teams where I need him to live. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't do what I would need. Like, I don't get me wrong, I'd love to have him 6 stars overall, but he can still land decreased defense, still increase turn meter, still decrease turn meter at 5 stars, just as well as he does at 6 stars. But so okay, so
Yeah.
I've got a really specific question for you. I love that I'm just gonna be like, all right, well,
Let's do it.
I've got
I did it
questions for
on
you.
my channel.
All right, here's my question. Let's just actually take a quick look at my faction wars. I'm close to Lydia at this point. I've only got Lizardman. Here we go. This freaking crypt, dude. There are 3 main crypts left that I've got to do. There's Lizardman, which is by far the hardest for my account, Skinwalker and Demon Spawn, and then the last one over here is Shadowkin, which really I think I can do this. I just didn't want to rebuild one of the champions. I'm pretty sure I can get the 2 other stars here. But here's my question for you, because this is the really big challenge right now, which is I actually, funny enough, when I was pulling shards earlier today for the summon rush, I ended up pulling really good Lizardman champions. So now this won't be as hard of a decision because prior to this morning, it was going to be really tough. But I just happened to pull a Jarrig and a Basilisk today. Prior to this, I didn't have either of these champions, and I was stuck with kind of this. I mean, this is just I don't want to level up a Quargan to do a faction wars. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to level up a Jizzo, and I really don't want a 6-star Razin because he's so bad overall now. But I have to get this faction crypt done, and so I was really struggling on who to do. You know, before I got Jarrig, now this is kind of an easy choice. Like, I'm gonna definitely take Jarrig, I think, up to at least 5-star, if not higher. But who, if you had to 6-star one of these guys to complete the crypt, who are you picking?
Broadmaw.
Really? Broadmaw,
Yeah,
he's a reviver?
a two-person reviver. You could build him in a bolster. You could build him in an regen set. Just make him tanky, and you can cheese the 3-star out of it, right?
Okay.
That for me, I think the biggest challenge oftentimes is, trying to get those 3 stars on each of your runs, right? And
Yes.
for some of them, you need a reviver. And, if you don't have a Pytheon, at Broadmaw, I mean, there's, I guess, just Sulfurian's a reviver too, but that's, even harder to get, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't have a Sulfurian.
So I think a Broadmaw is going to be a huge help. And I'd say that because it looked like you were 60 stars. Are you, maybe just not 3-starring some fights, or?
I just haven't pushed on the last, like, you can't see. Oh, I guess you can see them here. So
Yeah,
I haven't pushed. I haven't pushed these last 3. So these would be the last 3 that I need to do because I couldn't 3-star this and I didn't want to just 1-star it.
Yeah.
Funny enough, although I guess technically it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I couldn't 3-star this at the time. I think he was just in here to do like one of the rare quests. This was the team that I was running where I was like, all right, we got Aox, we got Slixus, Broadmaw, Scathix, and Razin. Like this team really struggles for damage overall, and it definitely struggles to keep people alive because nobody's six other than Aox. But so okay, so you think here you're doing Broadmaw before you're doing Razin or Slixix, yeah?
Yeah, I would try. I mean, to be completely honest, I tried forever to not pull Razin on my free to play at all because I like being able to fuse those epics during events.
Just saw a video on that, funny enough. So yeah.
I eventually did it. That's how I got my Odin. I did a bunch of Razin fusions and then fused him himself to get the points to win that Odin.
Oh,
wow. So that's a big little insider tip for players. Like, try not to fuse your Razin if you can help it. I think really, well, no, yeah, that's right. That you do have, that's a nuker, right? The Void one in the top there.
Yeah, he's a nuker.
It's kind of like don't quote me on this, but it kind of like a Genbo level type of nuker, if I remember right.
He's not bad. He's actually pretty solid. The only problem is his kit's a little wonky because he's got a passive where it increases his crit damage every time he kills an enemy. But if he uses Blade's Finality, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of defense. But the problem is Blade's Finality is like the AoE or is the single target.
Yeah.
It's hard to get like I guess that you want to be able to set up the AoE to do max damage, but it would be nice to have this do a little bit more damage, I guess.
Yeah.
So that you could actually get the kills with it, because it can be tough with the single. But yeah, he's good. He's a good nuker. Like, he absolutely could be someone you 6-star in general for sure, in my opinion.
I would avoid Razin at all costs, but I think Broadmaw and Slixus makes the most sense.
It's just tough because I don't want to 6-star any of them. You know what I mean? Like, the next person I wanted to 6-star was ideally someone like I think Mad Hatter, because he's so good for Hydra, and I really need to build better Hydra teams. I haven't put the time in there, and I was like, yeah, he would be really good for me for Hydra, or even someone like Lenothril or Lanicus could make sense for a even better ally attack than just relying on the Fat Man, who's currently in my ally attack squad, along with Podrick. But Podrick is like god tier ally attack. So
of course, yeah.
So okay, so you think maybe then one of them would be the next 6-star if I were going to do it, as opposed to a Mad Hatter?
So I think Faction Wars as a much higher value for so my free to play has not completed Faction Wars either.
Oh, interesting.
Because honestly, it's a game mode that I'm not the biggest fan of. Just
you and me both.
I'd say mostly just because I'm lazy about it. Like, I don't, for the same reasons that you're dealing with, I don't want to level up somebody that I'm only using in this one spot.
Yes.
And never using them anywhere else. And probably putting gear on them that's going to stay on them too. Because I, don't want to be swapping gear around before every Faction Wars, right? So it's not a game mode that I cared about a lot. However, because she's already was good, Lydia, right? But she's so freaking good for Chimera.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I try to coach a lot of members of my clan about like how to beat Chimera. And the first thing I say in anything I do for coaching for them is like, well, go get Lydia. Like, she just makes it so much easier and you can progress a lot farther. And I think, that's really going to help your account.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why to get her now. I understand.
Yeah. So, I do think what I kind of like, you just pulled Sacred Shards outside of a 2x, right?
Yep.
I had to look away because I would have kept laughing. Think of it like this. You're investing in the longevity of the account to be able to get Lydia. So if I told you level 2 epics that you're never going to use, and I will hand you a S tier Void Legendary, you'd probably take that trade, right?
Yeah. That's very valid point. Yep, I would take that trade.
So that's the way that I look at it. I don't usually 6-star my I'm terrible with their names.
There's so many champions at this point. Good luck remembering everybody. I don't know,
I don't usually 6-star my Drexstar on an account. I usually keep him at 50. And I pulled a tyrant on my free to play, but I need demon spawn help for faction wars. So both of them I recently 6-starred, and I'm in my own clan. So I kind of get like a free ride as a free to play player in my
That's great.
advanced clan. I have Lamasu on there that we didn't see, but
oh, nice. Okay, I haven't gotten my Lamasu yet. It's still ways. So Demon Spawn is actually one of the other factions I have to do. And funny enough, I have 6-star champions that probably people wouldn't overall, like Countess Licks. But
yeah,
I don't know. I like this champion. In spite of her bad cooldowns, I think she brings more utility than people realize with just the decreased speed and block active skills, especially for arena.
Absolutely.
So that was part of why I did it. But so I was thinking about 5-starring Abyssal specifically for faction wars because of the block. What is it? Block. Does he do block debuffs? Yeah, block buffs or something like that. What does he do here? I thought he did something that made it maybe okay. Maybe he's not worth doing actually. He's completely. Oh, maybe it was the heal. Maybe that was.
No, he's a good option. I think it's an AOE hit on his A1, and I think the A2 is not a hitter, and the A3 is not a hitter. So you could put him in a stun. He's a great stun set option.
Yeah.
And he brings a little bit of help with they're the
I just
small versions.
Look at this guy. This guy is incredible. Dur the Hunger with a revive. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dur. I've built a lot of Durs. Solely for faction
building
wars
Dur
for Demon Spawn. Yeah.
My lord, I didn't realize that this guy. I literally did not realize this guy was this legit. With a revive and a 50%. This is a really good freaking revive for an epic.
It is. The rest of the kit is okay. I think she's a buffer too, with reflect damage, continuous heals.
Look at the A2. Look at this. Yeah. A heal and a continuous heal?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, damn it. Okay. It looks like I'm leveling my Dur to make sure I get down the Demon Spawn. Okay. All right.
Yes. She has been my healer for many, many versions of Demon Spawn Faction Wars across multiple different accounts at this point.
I just pulled her today. Is it a her?
I think so.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't see breasts. I think it's a he.
I always say her, but let's go with they. How's that?
I mean,
no one gets mad.
We'll go with it. It is.
Yeah.
It is a demon. Okay, so this is great.
So
I feel really good about this poll because I was really hoping to pull with these sacreds, get a Duchess or even a Rector draft, which I still don't have a Rector draft, hilariously enough, on this account. But okay, so all right, that's good. Okay. All right, I got another question for you.
Okay.
And I know you want to take a look at my Thor, so we'll do that in a second. But
yeah,
let's talk clan boss.
Okay.
Just somebody build this team for me. I don't feel like I don't know about you guys, and maybe I'm the only one, but I truly hate building clan boss teams. I know I have the champions to do this, to put up some really solid damage. I just need. Oh, I guess I have a Rowan now, so I just pulled her, so I could do this team now.
She's
actually,
good, yeah.
I could do this. But if you were gonna build a solo key team that is not this, what is that? What is that team? Somebody just do it for me.
So, I think. So I've been thinking about this. I've almost wanted to make a video on it, but I'm always afraid because this is kind of a hot take that I get a little paranoid about.
Yeah.
I think it's easier than ever to build killable team because the stat bloat is high.
Yes.
Speeds are high. We have the area bonuses. We have relics. We have blessings. While yes, I run Wixwell teams on both of my accounts.
Congrats. I missed that fusion because I screwed up.
I know, I'm so sorry. But I do think if you can, because you have a buff extender already, if you can find an ally protector, I don't know if you have a Taragi. I don't think I saw one.
No, and that's the thing that sucks is like about one champion I desperately want. It is the Taragi, that frog. Like, I know that would. By the way, are you keeping 5-star gear if it's something like where it has speed or things like this or attack? I mean, there's no crit right here, so I probably wouldn't keep this. But do you keep 5-star gear in your free to play?
Oh yeah. Okay. I can't afford not to.
Yeah.
One of the things
this piece? Can you see this piece? Would you keep this?
Yes, I would keep it, but it probably never gets built because it doesn't have crit rate on the substat.
Let's just see if it rolls speed. No. Okay. It's definitely
of course not. Yeah.
So of course not. But
speed is so hard to. So I have learned on my most recent free to play challenge experience that speed is so. I value, like, I already valued it highly, but now valuing it from the beginning of an account is so much more satisfying. Like
Mhm.
I would keep a piece before that was like crit rate, crit damage, and maybe like attack percent, right? Like let's say like a weapon or something.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would keep that anymore. I still would keep it if I have room, you know, but when I get to like maxed cap, if there's no speed on it, I really don't want it anymore. I mean, speed is just far too difficult to get for that. That's a bit of a hot take, I would say, to be honest, but that was the approach I took on the free to play challenge, and my Alice was stacked.
Yeah.
Um, and I think because it's also really easy to get gear now. I don't know how much you value the gear in the market. I would say that you probably don't because of your being so experienced, and you probably just look down on the market.
No,
But
no, I've been looking at the market, funny enough, actually. I've been trying, but the problem that I have with the market is the prices are absurd for good gear. I mean, like
yeah,
8 million for the good stuff. Like what?
they are
Crazy.
on the challenge account. I got a crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, speed, legendary, um, savage piece.
Here you
Out
go.
of the shop.
Here's the savage right here. So speed crit rate. Are you buying this for 4.7 mil?
Speed and yeah, I would. I got to be real with you. I know that that's crazy, and everyone's account is different.
When's the
Your
next
account-
gear event? A gear enhancement? Am I okay? I've done it. You know what? Out of deference for you, I'm gonna buy this right now.
Please don't. You don't have enough
If this
silver.
if this rolls badly, then you're never allowed back on the channel. So that's what's at stake here now, guys. You heard it here first. Roadblock told me to buy this. I have very little silver, which he maybe didn't think about. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna find out if Roadblock just screwed this account. And you better pray for good rolls here, Roadblock. You better pray right now. Hey, double crit. We'll take it.
But
That's not bad at all.
I really
I
would.
do need Savage gear, so this is actually okay. So expensive, but ended up being worth it. And so I guess it just proves the point that the market can be good. Now, if that had rolled triple resist,
especially for a shield, right? Because you're not going to find attack percent on there. So to get speed and crit rate, no crit damage, that sucks. But if that makes or breaks a Savage build with a double crit rate roll right there, that could be really, really huge.
I do not have good Savage gear too. Like I'm definitely like I've got only a handful of pieces that have. So this is the one we just got. This has the crit rate and the speed. You can see here, like most of my gear isn't super great. There's not.
So what you're saying is I just increased the value of your account with my advice.
But look at this though. Look at this piece. Triple speed on this one. Yeah, and it's still not on somebody. Why is this not geared on someone?
Probably because it didn't roll crit rate, and you probably have a hard time fitting it in with crit damage gloves, right?
Yeah.
It would be my guess.
Some of these
I love crit rate on shields. That's a big value for.
Yeah, I've even kept the piece right here because it had speed, crit rate, and crit damage, which is hilarious. Yeah. But okay, you wanted to say something about my Thor build.
So I wanted to ask one question. You've said that it was very important for you to get Merciless on him, but can you pull his stats up for me?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think you're sacrificing too much in stats to be able to get Merciless on him?
So it's a good question. It's something that I thought about. At the time when I didn't have Savage gear to build him, the answer would be no. My Savage gear has improved recently, but it's still not the best. Really, the build that I want to put him in, though, actually, is, let's see if I did this, is actually this build. I want to put him into Savage and Stone Skin, so I can use him in Arena. Now, I sacrifice currently quite a bit of stats because I haven't been able to level these up. That's the biggest thing that's kept me back from doing this. Like, I got to get these pieces all leveled up and improved. And these stats will go up quite a bit. They won't be as good as the Merciless necessarily, but they will be significantly better than they are right now.
Okay.
But I want him in Savage and Stone Skin because I want to use him more in Arena because he does hit so hard.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that has been helpful for me. We can upgrade this and just see if we can ascend it. Triple defense. Wow. Incredible.
Oh, let's go Ascension.
Oh, let's go. Okay. Yeah. The luck is here. Okay. Yeah. So, like, I really want to get him.
This is all me.
Yeah, it's all Roadblock. I really do want to get him into this kind of build because I know even though this is HP, it's not attack, which doesn't help him. It'll help sustainability, whatever. It's fine. But he does so much damage anyway that even with lower stats in Arena in a Stone Skin Savage build, this guy could help me immensely when it comes to moving up, especially if I can get him faster. But
Do you think he's your best nuker on the account right now?
Rathalos is probably my best overall nuker.
Well, for PvP.
Yeah, even for PvP, I use Rathalos all the
Okay.
time because his stats are pretty bonkers
Okay.
from a damage perspective, and in Slayer he can take turns more quickly because he has that AOE. I can lead off with AOE.
Yeah.
I think from an overall kit perspective, Thor is my best nuker for
Okay.
sure. From a kit perspective, I would place Thor above Rathalos. He just like his damage output is truly monstrous,
Yeah.
and the fact that he's got 2 AOEs is really big. Like his overall kit is just better, which I think helps a ton. The problem that I have, like this is the problem I really have with free to play, is I need these champions to be available in so many different game modes. I need to be able to use Thor and Hydra. I need to be able to use Thor in Arena. I need to be able to use Thor in, hypothetically Faction Wars, all these different things. It's just really tough to get a build that works for everything, because also so many of these things are speed dependent too.
That changes my advice a little bit, because I guess I didn't realize how kind of short you were on like
I don't have great
high-end
nukers.
arena nukers.
Yeah, I've got Alice. Alice would be one of the other ones that I could use hypothetically. I've got Thor. I've got Rathalos. You could say Mashald, but even at this level, I'm seeing more Stone Skin. I'm seeing more stuff that's tough for me to get around.
Try the Alice out. She's the same affinity as Thor. I think she's more of an arena specialist than a PvE specialist, where Thor has a higher value in PvE, where Alice does not.
Yeah.
I mean, mine's in crit rate gloves on the free to play challenge. That's the only place I've built her on.
Yeah.
But she smacks.
Yeah.
Even with crit rate gloves, like she is in Savage. She's got a crazy build. Well, that's a topic for another time. But I would like play around with her a little bit, because the thing I noticed, Thor on my main free to play account, the one that's cracked with all the crazy champions.
Mm-hmm.
Thor is I use him instead of Seer for wave clear stuff, because he hits so hard. And mine has 221 speed, 6k attack, 297 crit damage. So and that's in a lethal set. Do you farm lethal, by the way? I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I can farm, and that's actually what I've been rolling. I was rolling up some of the lethal. I need to roll. We can roll some here, but I need to.
I've been lucky so far. Let's see if I can keep it going.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, he got you a mythical.
Hey, dude, and 6-star. Letlet's go. Crit rate speed on this. That's big. HP, that's still valuable. Oh, beep boop. But some of these are pretty good pieces, though. Crit rate, speed, yeah, okay. Crit rate on a lot of these. Wow, this is actually not bad with crit rate with HP percentage, especially on like an HP attack nuker.
Definitely.
You know what? Let's take a quick look at that mythical piece right now and just see if we can. I have mythical re-rolling stuff, so let's see if it rolls. Ooh. I don't have much silver left, of course, from purchasing that Savage. We learned a lot about not buying Savage here. Now, beep boop. Now, would you re-roll this?
So I'm the wrong person to ask. I have more Chaos Ore stores than anybody else. You know what?
Crit rate. Hey. Okay. No crit rate.
That's not bad.
No crit rate.
No crit rate, but at least it's built-in crit rate.
This is built-in. Yeah, built-in crit rate. So not bad. Okay, let's ascend. We're really just going. Okay. Well, the luck ran out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've actually just crafted a lot of lethal gear off this last Doom Tower push, and this will help. I think the hardest thing that I find on my account is just having silver. It's just really, really, really tough. And I do need to do some big gear cleanses, because I have a lot of bad gear that needs to be taken off that isn't worth keeping. But my God, dude, it's just tough to get the silver. Tough.
Yeah. I mean, so the reason that I tend to have so much silver is a little bit to do with using RSL Helper. I don't know if you're a fan or if you use it that much or anything, but if I'm like, before I go to bed every night, I set something up, whether it's Spider, like Minotaur, just to get the masteries done for free, no gems needed.
How do you have the energy to do that, though?
Do you know how RSL Helper works overnight?
Sure, works overnight. Like,
So you can set it.
oh,
It's
I see what you mean. Like where it's gonna run down to. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Yeah. So
yeah,
you're
it
running
run
it down.
effective resources. So
Okay.
every time, so if you're doing a hard dungeon, every time you get
Ooh, that's such a good tip because I never thought about doing that just on a free to play account overnight, where you're like you're
yeah
just constantly minting your resources, but you're getting maximum value out of your energy
yeah,
regeneration. Because every
and
time
if
it
you
hits
set up
30 or
a
40 energy, it'll just run again.
yeah, and if you set up a sell system for it, right? So it sells all the crap gear that you get. How much silver does that add up to over the course of a week, over a month, over 6 months, right?
Wow.
Yeah, and so like last night, and it doesn't have to be a dungeon, or it doesn't have to be gear related.
Hmm.
Last night I ran Phantom Shogun overnight. Just
Yeah.
because it was easy to do, and it's a great way to get your dust and stuff right for a
Sure.
free to play account. But you do get silver for each run, and so you come back, and maybe it's only like a couple 100,000 or so, but still, you did generate resources with minimal effort from you. You were cozy in your bed taking a nap, right? So that's a big way that I generate a lot of resources. That's not the best advice for free to play because people play on mobile and some people just don't trust RSL Helper. And I gotta
Oh,
admit, it's
that's
not the easiest thing to install.
I love
But
RSL Helper. That's crazy, man. RSL
yeah,
Helper forever, man.
no, I love it too. I swear by it. I do it all the time. And it's been a huge gain for my free to play account in particular. Not to mention that if you're running a hard, like say you're running hard spider overnight, and you might come back to an ancient shard too,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I've
That's
done
very
that a
valid.
couple of times where I come back and it's like, oh, I got 2 ancient shards last night. That's rare. That's cool.
It's good
So
advice. Is there anything
yeah.
else you wanted to see on this account? Any other thoughts you had?
Um, there were a couple that hit. Oh, one of them it popped up while we were talking, and I was like, oh, I want to ask him about that, and it's kind of just flown right out of my brain here. Um, uh, shoot, I know we talked about. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to
No,
remember
no,
what it was, unfortunately.
it's
But
not
I do
coming back.
think Alice is something that's worth a little bit of looking into. Like play around with her, see how you feel about her
I
damage
I
output.
like her for sure. I think the hardest thing that I found with Alice, I just need to get her faster. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the problem that I have on Arena. First off, I'll be completely like transparent. I have not sat down and really geared this stuff for Arena, and it's the
yeah,
kind of same thing we talked about in your video, where it's just so hard to have every champion and the right build for every area. But realistically, like I'd love to run Alice with an Arbiter, Armand's potentially Eostra team where I'm trying to go first. Um, the problem I have here is like really I need Arbiter not get banned because she's my fastest
yeah,
champion. I think like 348, 345. Um,
yeah,
so it's one of those things where if I'm going to run this team, I need to make sure I have the speed race one.
yeah,
And the other thing too is like she has to be speed tuned with this because if I lose, like let's say I lose an Arbiter, I only have one speed boost. That's not enough, right? And so I can't get the gear necessary to get her up to like 280 speed and still have good damage stats to where she can actually do damage. I guess you could hypothetically use her with another nuker at the same time. So maybe I pair her with Rathlos or pair her with Thor. And those are
hmm
my three supports. And I try to make more of a speed team out of it. But it's so hard gear wise at this level to get the pieces you need to
yeah,
make these champions really cook. And then also, this is the big thing, man. Like, good God, bro, the books, man.
yes,
I need
yeah,
so many books to make her valuable. Whereas that's the other big reason why I've leaned on Thor is he's already booked. He's ready to go.
exactly, yeah,
And her kit doesn't really start to work correctly until this is fully booked. Or at least booked to a point where I don't ever have to worry about this not cooling people down. Because
well,
that's her big draw.
yes, that's true. Sorry, I was ignore what I was gonna say. Yeah, no, I agree with everything that you said. Books are hard to come by free to play. I do think she's worth the investment since you are lacking in PvP nukers, really.
Yeah.
I think that she will be good for you moving forward once you get the books. And I still think your priority should be Lydia, though.
Yeah. I
And
think you're right, because that's going to open up more stuff. It's also going to let me push dungeons up more as well, which means better gear.
mhm,
Like, this account, in my assessment, has been really lucky from a PvE perspective. Like, when I look at this
yes,
account, I'm like, oh, Chrysia, wow, phenomenal. Oh,
yeah,
Aislinn, yes, phenomenal. Also can be useful for PvP, but he's currently in my clan boss team, which makes him less useful because he really needs to be in a very specific bolster build to maximize stuff for PvP. And I can't do that because I need him in regeneration. But
mhm.
you know, I really don't have great meta nukers on this account from PvP, or even really great meta supports for
That's
PvP.
my issue.
You know,
Yeah,
like, other than Ancora, who I got lucky to pull because I missed her fusion. You know, and again, like, I have her built more for PvE with bolster. I think bolster isn't as good in today's day and age in
no, yeah.
PvP. Unfortunately, on this champion, I'd much rather have her in Stone Skin.
Are you
Um,
facing stuff like so? I assume that they scale live arena in some way with your player power, because like I said in my free to play challenge, I got silver 3. I wasn't facing Stone Skin. I wasn't facing Armands. I wasn't facing mythicals.
no, I
You
do
know,
face that.
okay.
I mythicals every once in a while. So I'm in silver
Okay.
2 here. Mythicals every once in a while.
Yeah.
Uh, but I do actually face people that put people in Stone Skin, or just have ludicrous speed or fully blessed champions. You know, it's not
Yeah.
all the time, which is why I'm able to typically win without really going through this account and actually making specifically arena-based teams.
Yeah.
So you can see I'm only sitting at 50. You can't see because you're blocking it, but it's 53% down here on the win rate. Don't worry, don't worry. But it's like,
Almost.
it's like one of those things where I really need to sit down and go through this account and do specifically arena-based champions, but it's going to screw up all my other stuff. Like, the number one thing I would say I need to do in this account, besides getting Lydia, is just fix clan boss. Fix
Yeah.
clan boss so I need desperately to get Theodore and Aislinn out of this team. Like, I cannot have them in this team anymore. Theodore especially, because he would let me do so many more dungeons. Granted, I don't know if I have the gear and regeneration to build him with the resistance and accuracy and speed necessary to solo dragon or other stuff. But even Aislinn, if I could get him out of this team and into bolster, would open up so many opportunities for me from an arena perspective, and still be viable for PvE as well. But I you know, I guess I could hypothetically build him in bolster for this, but the problem is I don't have bolster gear that's good enough for the speeds necessary for this team.
Whenever you build one of your better ally attackers, get Fat Man in there is what I would recommend.
What, for clan boss?
Yeah. He brings poison, burn, and decreased defense.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And ally attack, you could bring. I mean, so I think the biggest thing that's going to help you, and it's a little unfair of me saying it because mine is in a Wixwell team, but the Mikage ninja combo, when you finally get your Mikage, that's going to be a big.
God, another champion. So hard to get.
Yeah.
I will say, I hate that they like pretended that this was a really like, oh, everyone gets a mythical. Like, bullshit. This is such a ridiculously difficult fusion to obtain because of how specific these champions are. I mean, I've got every champion except for 2, and I can't fuse this stuff in order to do it. Like, this was crazy to me. They made this so difficult.
Yeah, they did. And hopefully, you know, we've got the 2X Ancients coming up. Are you doing the fusion on the free to play?
I am doing the fusion, and that's why I had 40 plus Ancients saved here. I had to burn through them for this.
Oh no. Okay. Well, hopefully you can recoup some of those before the champion chase.
We'll see. I could have used more mystery shards, but frankly, I just didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah, no, I've been there.
I'm too lazy, and I don't want to pull 1,600 freaking shards.
Yeah.
And I got 2 sacred shards today, which I pulled. So that was another big thing where I was like, I'm going to need to pull these ancients. And then of course I ended up getting 2 sacreds off clan boss. I'm like, okay, well maybe I didn't need to do this at all.
Well, ancient shards used to be my favorite things to pull during 2Xs because of wanting the epics. I was like, come on, I didn't care about legendaries. I was like, come on, Mikage epics, let's go.
Yeah, come on, Mikage epics, or come on, Taraki the Frog, please. Like, please give me this stupid. Because it would be so much easier if I had this one specific champion to build a great demon lord team, like without a doubt. Like, he's so good for that mode.
especially with the buff extender in Anchorite. You keep that ally protect up, you get a decreased attack in there.
Yeah.
And then that allows you to just bring your hardest hitting nukers. Look, my free-to-play challenge, I hate to keep bringing it up, but my Alice was my highest damage dealer on that account for clan boss. She outdamaged Calvalax. She outdamaged Kale.
Okay, nice.
And she was built for PvP. She had Helm Smasher. So she did have Brimstone, I will admit that. But you know, I think it's that because we get so much just crazy stats, nobody's really taken a look at Clan Boss, I feel like, in a long time. It's been solved for so long. But like I said, a bit of a hot take, but I think killable teams are going to be more viable. And especially with Mikage existing in the game, whenever you do eventually get her, and I wish you the best of luck to get her, I think she's going to make a big difference. And I know the video is running long, but I remembered the thing I wanted to talk to you about.
Let me hear it. What is it?
Phantom Shogun Grove.
Yeah. I haven't pushed this the way I should, for sure.
Now, I think I actually sent you this in a private message, this team, the all rare team. Do you remember me talking to you about this? I don't know if I did or not.
You did a video on it, but I can't remember if you sent it to me.
So it's 2 Cold Hearts, Reliquary Tender, Paragon, and Gnarlhorn. It's a speed-tuned team, and what I love about it is it doesn't take anybody away from your account, right? You don't lose your... Because the Cold Hearts are built fast in that, and of course they're your damage dealers, but you don't run into the problem you're running into with Clan Boss, because they're good champions on your account aren't tied up. It's not like you have to have a speed-tuned Newt or a Krizia for it. Yeah. And you could use them if you wanted to in place of the Cold Hearts, by the way.
I have to have a whatchamacallit? Are these level 6 champions, or can they be rank 5?
So my Paragon is 50, no masteries. My Gnarlhorn is 60, no masteries. Yeah. And my Reliquary Tender is 60, no masteries.
I got 60 on that. That's the number one thing I think. It's just it takes such a long period of time to 6-star champions in this game. It is just ludicrous how restrictive the chicken resources are on free-to-play accounts, where it's like, good God, man. It is really, really, really tough to get. Well, and not having
any form of XP boost either.
Yeah, I'm lucky in that I typically you have at least something to XP boost on this. Like, I'll keep 1 or 2 of these.
I don't mean those ones. I mean I don't know if you do the raid pass or whatever it's called, or doing the what are the forge passes, and you get that bonus XP.
Oh yeah, I'll do the forge pass on my main account. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget how much I miss that stuff when I go to the free to play to do a champion training, and I'm like, yeah, this should only be 2 hours. 4 hours later, and I'm still grinding 12-3 brutal, and I'm just like, what? Why is this taking so long? It's like, oh yeah, I don't have forge pass or raid pass percentage increase to my experience, so this is gonna take longer.
Yeah, it's tough.
So,
dude, this was that's super helpful though. I think really nice to have you come on and just kind of give me some perspective as to what I'm working with, and again, have someone who's played a lot of different free-to-play accounts. So this is my only free-to-play account I've ever played. Only one. I started in the Hell Hades Challenge. Here we are a year later. I think the biggest thing with all this stuff, as everyone knows, playing Raid is a full-time job.
Yes.
Playing multiple accounts. How the hell do you have time to do anything else? But it's super interesting and super cool to get kind of this perspective and feedback. So, Roadblock, really appreciate you coming on and just sharing some different ideas and different thoughts on where I'm at and where I could improve, and kind of giving me that perspective. So thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I always love coming and chatting with you. I'm always in your chat when you're live and trying to get your attention and be like, saying something funny. So
you had me on the TV the other day, which was beautiful. Had my my beautiful paleness on the TV, which was great. So really appreciate that. And of course, appreciate the support, man. Anything else you want to share with the community before we go? Obviously, of course, we have a video on Roadblock's channel, like I mentioned earlier. So make sure to check that out. Give him some love, some likes, some subs. Another phenomenal creator. But anything else you want to say?
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube and Twitch. I haven't streamed in a couple of weeks because of life issues, but I'm Roadblock is where I'm known for mostly on those platforms. So feel free to look me up. I do a lot of free to play, but I do have a very small spend account as well. And Drock just helped me on both of those accounts over on my channel. So thanks. Thanks for having me on, man. It means a lot.
Absolutely, dude. You're welcome back anytime. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments down below if you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And again, check out Roadblock's channel and our fun collab over there. I'm Big Papa Drock. This was I'm Roadblock. We're out. Have a great day.